It's your boy TG, and yeah, bring it from the bottom. Oh, that sounds good to say. It's been a long time. And beside my co-host Marco Jalio, Marco Polo, the man with the plan. Then coming in later tonight, Cam, Taylor, and boy, I got something for y'all. And it's not even football season yet. I'm just getting started. And we got a lot to cover. I'm gonna let you guys get in here. I know y'all been waiting. It's been a very, very long time. I know. I've been thinking about it. I was like, I gotta get back into the groove. The real reason, before we get into it, I've started my position full time with the Richmond Flying Squirrels, minor league baseball in Richmond. It's a huge job. It's really nice. My bosses and the guys there, my owner Barney is amazing. Come on by the Diamond in Richmond. See a good game. Get a nice beer. Get some entertainment. And tell them TG sent you. But it's a lot of things. And Marcus, how do you feel? It's been a few weeks since we have been here. We got a lot of things. I got a partnership coming on. I'll tell you about that stuff later. It's with an HBCU. But how do you feel now that we haven't talked in a little while? Right. But we're back here. NBA got their playoffs finally going on. You got Ocho Cinco over there getting knocked out last night. But how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I mean, it's like you said, GGE is back. We back. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get it. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got from NFL Chop Talk. We got NBA. We got Floyd Money Mayweather fighting a YouTuber. I don't know. Next thing you'll know, you'll see me and Perry fighting. I don't know. I mean, everything's going on here. But first off, let's start out with the NFL conversation. We know the NBA is hot, but let's talk about what's going on in the offseason. And I got to tell you about this. We got to first bring it out with my man Aaron Rodgers. He ain't showed up to minicamp. Well, he ain't showed up to voluntary minicamp. Who the hell does do that? Nobody. And not even Tom Brady showed up to his. So the whole BS about who did this, who did that, nobody showed up. A couple of guys that want to do some rep, but that's it. But I want to talk about this. Now we're getting to the better part of the deal is Aaron Rodgers not showing up to not just the voluntary camp. He hasn't had too much conversation with, he had conversation with the Packers organization and how the contract, blah, blah, blah. He said it's more than that. And now today, before I hand it over to you, not only the fan base is divided between not having Rodgers and having him, which we all know what Aaron Rodgers is capable of doing. You can't count that man out. And then you got to talk about this. They don't even expect him to come to the minicamp that's mandatory. And then today, to break even more news on top of that, Green Bay Packers CEO said that he was not going to fire the general manager. So that makes them stand that I'm behind my GM. He's not going to fire the GM over Aaron Rodgers because that quarterback drama, they call it. They signed Blake Bortles. They have a backup and what's his name? I don't even know his name. Jordan Love, because that's how new he is. And then we got some other Chad Kelly guy. I don't even know what's going on. None of them Aaron Rodgers, but hey, what you got on that? What you think Green Bay should do and take care of the situation?
I mean, well, first off, it's important that Aaron Rodgers should come back. I mean, we all want Aaron Rodgers to come back to Green Bay. I mean, we all know he's been their guy for like over the past decade at least. He's won your franchise a Super Bowl. He wants to win another Super Bowl with you guys or whoever, which team there is, depending on how they construct the deal with Aaron Rodgers, or if he decides to say, hey, I don't want to return. I want to go to another team. But with Aaron Rodgers, he's your guy. He's your leader that can do it all. And I know I saw Devontae Adams, one of you guys' number one wide receivers. He kind of like reached out saying like he wants Aaron Rodgers back. He misses God. He misses number one guy. Let's collide. Let's build this chemistry. Let's keep it going. And with Aaron Rodgers not showing up, I saw on ESPN that according to him not showing up, he could get fined I believe like 93, like over 93 million, $93,000 to be exact, for not showing up. So like mandatory camps and stuff like that, that can play a huge part in your mandatory mini camp and also with the franchise as a whole. So I do believe and I hope that Aaron Rodgers in the future, wherever he goes, he can return back.
Well, he at one point said in his career he wanted to be and retire a Green Bay Packer. Now he said he don't even think about that. He's somewhere chilling behind a waterfall. I don't know. But I will say that Green Bay's in a good deep amount of trouble right now. If Aaron Rodgers don't return back, or do you have a disgruntled Aaron Rodgers and he throws the season, or if he comes back and just sits on the bench and says I'm hurt, he may fake an injury. I don't know to outlast his contract. That's another thing we got to take into consideration. But on the bright side, let's talk about not only QB conversation, but let's talk about how Devontae Adams, like you said, he even came out and said that, yeah, I want to stay with Green Bay, but now he kind of don't know where he want to go. I do have Cam with the plan joining us. He should be coming up on the screen very shortly. Cam, I believe he's
How you guys doing today?
He's here. How you feeling, Cam?
Hey, you see it. Game 2, baby. We're coming for you, Milwaukee. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look, I'm going to say this, Cam. Both of our teams in there right now. I don't know how the hell the Clippers made it in there, but hey, they're doing whatever they're doing is working right now. So let's see how long it actually worked. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we'll get to that very soon. But now we're talking about Julio Jones being traded to the Tennessee Titans. Now, look at this. We know what Julio Jones can do. We all know that. But over the last 2 to 3 seasons, guess what? He's been hurt. So necessarily people go, well, Julio, we know what he's capable of doing. We've seen the yards and stuff he can break. But at this point in time of his career, you and Cam may say differently, but will we see a decline? I mean, we've been seeing it over the last 2, 3 seasons, and will that impact him going forward to another team? Will we just see a same old player get hurt over and over again? No matter what team you go to, guess what? Your injuries don't stop. So my question is, Jones got traded with a 6th-round draft pick of 2023, and then Tennessee Titans gave over a 2nd-round draft back in 22. They gave him a 23 4th-rounder. Who, Cam? I'm gonna give this to you for a quick. Who won that deal necessarily? I mean, I know we have Julio. I mean, I know the Titans got Julio, which they need somebody to fill in the gap, but he's hurt right now. Who won that deal?
The Titans wholeheartedly won that deal. I'm gonna tell you why. Matt Ryan has not been the same since they blew that Super Bowl. It's just that simple. Don't get me wrong. Fantasy points wise, Matt Ryan produces. When it comes to winning games, Atlanta Falcons don't win but so much. Therefore, if you're not winning games, you might as well allow your future Hall of Famer, mind you, wide receiver, go try and win. He deserves it. I would have loved to see him go to Kansas City, to be honest with you. That would have been a juggernaut. A true juggernaut. I'm talking 17-0 Kansas City Chiefs if he went there. But now you put him in the mix with Derrick Henry, top 3 running back in the league. Top 3 running back in the league for the past 4 to 5 years, mind you. Then you have a young A.J. Brown, who is not a bad receiver. He just got a Pro Bowl in his 2nd season in the league. That says a lot. Tannehill is a game manager. He's not anywhere near as talented as Matt Ryan, don't get me wrong, but who's making the playoffs consistently over the past 3-4 years? Tannehill and the Titans or Atlanta and Matt Ryan? You see what I'm saying? So I feel like the Titans overall had won this deal. Plus, they're in the AFC. That really makes the AFC a toss-up. I still don't think it's Kansas City's conference to lose necessarily, but I mean, you got to look at now. You really have to look at Tennessee like, oh shoot, they actually have not only a really good running back, but if he can stay healthy, if Julio can stay healthy, I'm telling you right now, The Titans will be the most dangerous team in the AFC, not Kansas City, because we know what we're getting with Kansas City. They don't
Yeah,
have that great of a defense.
and
But
one
when it
thing you
comes to
can't
Tennessee,
say,
they're
like,
playing both sides of the ball.
and like you were saying, Cam, it makes dangerous because they have a running back. They're off. Arguably, the Tennessee Titans offensive line is not horrible because if they were horrible, we know what Tannehill's about, and Tannehill's actually being a beast right now, which nobody I think projected that was going to happen. Get down to Miami, but they got two receivers, nice offensive line that hasn't really shown any regression or getting hurt. You got a beast in Derrick Henry back there. You got a defense that can stand at least on half their toes of anything else. They've been solid. You got a nice little solid squad. And like you said, the AFC not really being a soul like the Patriots was there. And then once the Patriots left, then you got the Chiefs and you got Ravens. Everybody's on the same kind of level now. There's nobody sitting at the top looking down going, oh, I'm going to win. We know they're getting there. I mean, we thought the Patriots at one point, Cam, we were talking about that last season, but when the season concluded about the Patriots. Now Cam Newton, we'll talk about that later on, Cam Newton suffering that bone bruise. Some people don't take that, ooh, he hit his head on a helmet in practice. That sounds small right now, but what if it re-aggravates throughout the year? What if it takes him throughout first day of the game, he goes down on the turf and he re-aggravates the hand, now he's out. Who's your bag guy? That's the question the Patriots got to answer. But right now with the Titans, Marcus, I know everybody considers him a title contender now. Now putting this man in there, and like Cam said, if Julio stays injury-free and perfectly healthy, this man's dangerous. Hell, I wanted Green Bay to go get him. I don't know what Green Bay was doing. They still worried about Aaron Rodgers. Like, move on sometime you got to do. But what danger can the Titans do with Julio?
They can do a lot of danger. I mean, with Julio Jones being in the mix-up with the Tennessee Titans, it makes that much sense because he's still going to be that guy, but he doesn't have to be that guy as much compared to when he was with Atlanta.
He was the only guy.
and with Julio Jones not being that guy all around, you still have the opposite side of Julio Jones and AJ Brown, which I do think when you compare the two, there's similarities. They, number one, they both fast. Two, they both show physicality. And three, they just have that dog mentality that can just go up and get it. Whether it's in the middle, whether it's outside the numbers, or whether it's just going deep. Either way, they find different kinds of ways and accolades to go up and catch the ball.
Well, we will see, and we'll see what the AFC has to offer. But Cam and MPG, while we're on the AFC side of the ball, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are deciding, Cam, you tell me what you think that you got on this part right here. The Ravens decided to put Lamar under center a little bit more. I say it's a no-go. I'm sorry. If I were them right now, you've been fighting shotgun, stay in shotgun. One thing about this is, I mean, necessarily, it's nothing bad. Every quarterback should have the ability to do that, but Lamar's style of play, it's certain quarterbacks are made for that. Mm-hmm. Lamar's too small. In my case of this, Cam, and you may tell me something different, but I think the Ravens are making a mistake putting him under center. What you think, Cam?
I mean, I think it's needed if he wants to elevate his quarterback status and his quarterback experience, his quarterback expertise. He has to do something other than being in shotgun. We all know Lamar is not that great of a passer. He's a good passer, don't get me wrong, but you need to start seeing different sets because you're just going to make your offense very predictable if it's coming from the shotgun or the pistol formation. It's really just that simple because it's either a run, a play action, pass, or an option. It's really easy to set your defense up against to an extent. I mean, of course, he's a freak of an athlete, but if he can get behind center and actually be able to maneuver in the pocket, not just pistol, height, 2 seconds, don't see anybody, take off, he'll be a lot better. But again, if they had actual weapons receiving wise, that would be an easy route. But all they have is Julio, not Julio, but they have what's the kid's name? Hollywood Brown. Who else they have? Marcus. Who do y'all have receiving wise? I mean,
Well, receiving wise is like you mentioned. We have Hollywood Brown, we have Miles Boykin, we have Sammy Watkins, we just drafted Rashad Bateman, we got Tyler Wallace, we got Duvernay and Prochet. That's 7 receivers already. So they got different options on how to mix and change things up.
But my only thing is with him being under center, the ability of the offensive line. That, I mean, like again, Cam, we come right back to that conversation every time. We talk about a QB having ability. Like we know Tom Brady can do something like that. He's made to do it. We know he can do it. But also we know players like him, Patrick Mahomes, they have what? A solid offensive line that they can depend on. By the time they take 4 or 5 steps back and peep over, they ain't got to worry about a defensive end coming and robbing them. Right. That's one of the fears I fear, Cam, with Baltimore. Their offensive line is not sturdy enough or solid enough right now where he can go successfully snap bro on the center. I think it'll be unsuccessful for him this year. I mean, I don't know when is the right time, but I guess if you never did it, you never know. So I guess that's what Baltimore's doing. Let's try this out and see what happens. But right. Lamar, the thing right now with Lamar, he's trying to be too much of the it guy. He's trying to do too much. He's trying to run 500 yards and 5 TDs and then throw 5 TDs. No, it's a team. It's not an I. Nobody won the game by himself.
Well, I will say
Lamar facing. Lamar's been that way.
But sometimes he has to do it sometimes, though, bro. That's the thing. Sometimes when it comes down to it, you have to take over again. There is no I in team, yes.
But
there is a me.
90% of the time. Like every game you see when it goes all bonkers, the quarterback supposed to get the team together and go, boom, let's get it. But he tries to go, I'm going to get it. Y'all relax. I'm going to get it. And we see what happens.
Who else is on the team, though? No offense, Marcus, but seriously, offensive weapon wise, no more Hayden Hurst, no more Mark Ingram. They have J.K. Dobbins. There's cool, but it's gonna be a shakeup this year. I feel like the Ravens will still win that division, but it's gonna be solely off their defense getting the stops and getting points.
So, Mark, before we move to the next subject. How do you think your team, the Ravens, will fare with Lamar going in the center a little bit more? I mean, we've seen him out of his couple of seasons he's been in the league, none but shotgun. And we obviously, like Cam said, you know where he's going to go to. After so long of doing it, you just kind of expose yourself and you got to go, okay, there's not so much you can do in shotgun. I mean, it is a lot, but mixing it up, we know what Patrick Mahomes can do. We know what players like that have the ability. You don't know what's going to happen coming out of that.
I mean, with me, when I hear certain things like that, with me, seeing is believing. Mm-hmm. And just with Lamar Jackson taking shots under center, I mean, I get what they're doing, but in how they want to change things up, I would just say try to stay comfortable and try to stick to what fits you as a whole. I mean, last season, Lamar Jackson, he only took snaps under center 4%, which is really low. Yeah. So with Lamar Jackson taking snaps under center, it just all depends on how well the O-line can really hold other defensive opponents accountable, and how they sets up different formations and different schemes along the plays that they run. But that's to be determined. I mean, we still got less than 100 days until the regular season, so they still they still have like a while to really figure things out.
They do got a little bit to figure things out because you still got camps going on. They should determine what's going to happen there. I'm putting fan engagement up on there. We can't see it because we're seeing the camera, and then I'm watching from here. So, but another thing is, let's talk about not only that, but we got a little bit of conversation going on. I'm not going to talk about Cam Newton too much because we already know he's hurt, and we will figure out how that goes throughout the season and will that taper on or not. But Marcus, I'm gonna get to you because you gave this question. But what new QB and pass catcher combination in NFL would you be most excited about seeing this year? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would say this. I'm between looking right now at the Cardinals little combo they got going on over there, and then I gotta go see what's going on in Tennessee. Because if Julio stays healthy, that may be the combination that I'm willing to see. And then I want to kind of get into and see now a little bit. I wish Aaron Rodgers be like Green Bay. We'll see what that happens. We'll see what that happens before you come to the delusion. But what you got?
Well, I got two like QB and wide receiver duos that I'm excited to see. One that's been Lamar Jackson and Rashad Bateman. I mean, I really want to see how well Lamar Jackson and Rashad Bateman can like form that chemistry and just elevate Lamar Jackson's passing attack a lot more. Then another QB and wide receiver duo that I'm excited to see is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I mean, looking back at these two, they were both teammates at LSU. They won the national championship at LSU. So reuniting with your wide receiver and reuniting with your quarterback, hopefully Joe Burrow can stay healthy. I mean, we know the first year, his rookie career, missing the regular season, that became unfortunate. But hopefully he can get back on his feet and do what he does best.
We'll see. Kim, who you got for your QB combo with the receiver?
I have three. Okay, bear with me. First, I would love to see that Tua and Jalen Waddle connection happen multiple times this season. I'm not really a fan of Alabama products, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to say this. When Jalen Waddle and Tua were connecting, that was one of the most scariest duos before Devontae Smith now, y'all. Jalen Waddle, realistically speaking, would have won Heisman before Jalen Waddle got injured. It was Jalen Waddle, first and foremost. Second, I am excited to see the Tom Brady and Antonio Brown connection. That's what I want to see a lot this year. They just paid Antonio Brown the big money. They bought him back. So I want to see him as really a number three, not really a number one or two, because he's playing off Godwin. He's playing off Mike Evans. So now that's like a huge threat. And of course, the third, and in my opinion, the best duo potentially in the NFL is Contavious Tony and Daniel Jones for the New York Giants. I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
You want to know something? Look. This is what you are right now. You want to see what you are? You're full of delusion. And you want to know why I say you're full of delusion? Because that said so. And I made that just for you. I knew it. At first, I was not going to do it.
Last season, Daniel Jones led the league in accuracy in regards to deep passes 20 plus yards down the field. Contavious Tony is a deep ball threat. I don't care if he's a rookie or not. I'm telling you right now, we have the offensive weapons to shock a lot of people. Not saying we're going to be great, but what I'm
We
saying
really
is
don't
if
care.
Daniel Jones can stay focused and have a tunnel vision and be like
We
a
don't
horse,
care
put his
about the New
blinders
York
up right
Giants.
here,
I didn't
he's
even
going
know
to
they were
have
still in
a
New York. I don't
very
even know who they
good
are.
season. And
I
I
mean,
cannot wait because Saquon Barkley's coming back healthy. I talked to Evan Ingram on the phone last week. I told him I'm gonna buy you some stickers so you can catch the ball this year, bro. I'm telling you right now, we are gonna have something special transpire in New York, and it's gonna be with the Giants and potentially the Jets, because the Jets, what they're doing right now is they had one of the best drafts I've seen in a long time, besides the Cardinals like 2 or 3 years ago. But anyways, New York is going to have
we
something special
no,
at
Cam,
Met.
I'm not
I'm
done.
telling
I'm
you.
not done. You just
Go ahead. I'm
said
sorry.
I
Go ahead.
put it in lowercase. I thought it was to be the capital D, but no. You come on here every single time. I know COVID restrictions are lightening up, and you might be able to get outside and get some fresh air for once without having a mask on. But you are so damn delusional. But I'm gonna start getting definition of delusion.
How
I just
about
think
this?
you're right.
How about this?
Right
How about this? How about this? How about this? I bet you 20 pesos that the Giants will have a better season than the daggone Green Bay Slackers. I'll put money on it right now. Right
Well, you
now.
want to put it on right now? Guess
Right
what?
now.
TG accepts that, and that's the bottom
Okay.
line to it. I'll see
That's
you
what
in
I
the
like to
NFL
hear.
season. Because
Yes,
guess
sir.
what? I don't
Yes,
care
sir.
if we got Chad Kelly as the QB. I don't care
Okay.
who we got. I don't care if it's Blake Bortles. As rough as that sounds, and I don't care. Well, Jordan Love. Well, do I have? I mean, get Blake Bortles in there first, because Jordan Love may not be ready. But I mean, we might have who is your quarterback? I don't even know who yours is. You talking about my QB? Yours been in the league. It ain't made a name for itself.
All I'm saying,
Yeah.
the New York Giants will have a better record than the Green Bay Packers. It's
Your
just that
offensive
simple.
line is trash. I can't even name a
Actually,
wide. Who do you got the wide receiver, Cam? Who do you got back there?
Sterling Shepard,
Kenny
Contavious
Galladay.
Tony. Thank you. We just signed Galladay as well.
You
Like, what are we talking
named a few
about?
old veterans that don't know nothing.
Darius Slayton.
That name is not in the top 10. I mean, I'm just saying, I didn't say NFL wide receivers. I said top 10 wide receivers. You know what I mean? He ain't got none. He ain't got none.
So you're
Well, then
telling
I'm
me.
sorry. I didn't say top 10.
So you're telling
I
me
mean
right
top
now
10.
you need
Top
you
10.
need a
If
top
you
10
got nothing
receiver
but
to be
goats out
successful?
there
Is
and
that what you're
offensive
telling
line,
me?
then
Is
who
that
will
what
go
you're telling me?
anywhere?
Is that what you're telling me? You're telling me right now you need a top 10 receiver in order to be successful in the
I mean,
NFL.
look
Is
at
that
your
what I'm
season
hearing?
last year. You
Is that what
did
I'm
you make the
hearing?
playoffs?
Is that what I'm hearing?
Did you make the playoffs game
Is
last
that
year?
what I'm hearing?
I mean,
We
you
were
didn't have a
we
running
were
back
one
last
game
year.
away.
You didn't have an offensive line. Last year, you know, he talking about offensive line, O-line. Now Daniel Jones will be on the damn thing. I don't know who else.
All I'm saying is you will be surprised to see how well the Giants play this year. I'm telling you, I'm not saying we're gonna win the
You
division.
said
I'm
you
not
know what
saying
you
anything
sound
crazy
like.
like a
You
what do
know
I
what you
sound
sound
like?
like. I think
What
it's
do
in
I
your
sound
division,
like?
Cam. I think you
Don't you
sound
dare
like
tell
the
me.
doggone Dallas
I knew it.
Cowboys.
You are
That's
so
what you sound like.
disrespectful.
I think
You
you
are
got runs all
extremely
over that
you are
division.
so
Everybody's Super Bowl bound,
disrespectful.
Cam.
I cannot believe
Everybody.
you.
Oh my
I cannot
goodness. It's
believe you.
delusion. That's what it is. I mean, I might have spelled that wrong, but it's the delusion. No, I spelled it right. I looked it up. But the thing is, it just, I mean, I think you got a brain freeze off that ice cream you was eating a few minutes ago. I think you got too much fresh air. Man, I'm going to keep going, Cam. We're going to see. I'll talk to you. But guess what? NBA talk is here. We know what's going on through the middle of the season and the end to that, wherever that playoff funk was. I don't even know what it was, but we got there. Now we're here, and we're seeing what's going on day by day. And then he got his Brooklyn Nets stuff on. But guess what? The Clippers are still in the mix. Guess who we sent home? The Mavericks the other night. When Cam
You
was
know what's
sending
sad,
y'all these
Marquez?
text messages
You know what's
while
sad,
I was at
Marquez?
my job.
You know what's
And
sad,
then guess
Marquez?
what? The Clippers
Marquez.
won. And guess what?
Marquez. You know what's sad? You want to hear something? Y'all have two of the best defensive players in the league on the same team, and y'all couldn't stop one man from scoring 40 plus every game.
Hey, did he win?
Y'all had to
Did
go
he win?
7. Y'all
Did
had
he
to go
win, Kim?
7 with
Did
one
he win? I'm just
person.
saying. I don't
One
care.
person.
I don't care. He's telling me
Gosh.
that one man scored 42 points and he lost?
All I'm saying is
Huh?
y'all have to play a better team next series. That's the issue.
I didn't say
That
that.
is the issue. Y'all have to
I
play
didn't say that.
who was it? Phoenix? Or do y'all play Utah?
We play
I
Utah.
think
They play
I think y'all
Utah.
play Utah. So what are y'all gonna do?
Yeah,
Utah
yeah,
has a
they play.
much better team than Dallas. How are y'all?
Look
I
at
can't
this.
believe this.
I don't care, Cam, because guess what? Y'all might be up 1 right now. Y'all gotta play a 9. I'm not. I'm just throwing it out.
All I'm saying is we beat Boston in 5. We gave them one. We gave them a game. We said, you know what? Let's make this interesting. You know, this is Kyrie's first game back in the playoffs against Boston. His first time. Cool. Go ahead, Kyrie. Do whatever you want to do. Burn a little sage. Go ahead, do whatever you need to do to get your mojo right, get your head straight. His head wasn't wrapped up tight. It was too big of a moment for him. But guess what? He settled down for the next 2 games and went crazy. But guess what? While Brooklyn was done playing, sitting back, drinking beer on the couch, y'all still killing
You got
yourselves.
one thing,
Y'all
Cam.
killing
Y'all
yourselves
might
right
have won
now.
in game 5, damn it, but guess what? I'm gonna
Shoot.
tell you this. It's not about always keeping up or finishing ahead of the game. It's about outlasting people. My boss Garrett said that. And that's shout out to Garrett.
Good advice.
But one thing is, Cam, I want to acknowledge this with the Clippers, and then I'm gonna move on to your Nets. But with the Clippers eliminating the Mavericks, with Luka having his injury, if that was real or not. But one thing, the Mavericks, can they build a contender around Luka Doncic? Do you think that's possible?
Yes, it is easily possible, but you have to put the pieces of the puzzle together to make it work. Kristaps Porzingis is the biggest issue on that team. You're the biggest player on the team, and you're the biggest issue on the team. There's no reason why you are 7-3 and you're only averaging like 6, 7 rebounds a game. You're that tall, but you're shooting from 30 plus. So if you have a good shot, cool, bet. But you want to be like donned as this quote unquote superstar, but you're not stepping up to the plate. Ever since he got to Dallas, he has yet to step up to the plate to actually do something productive. He is literally the main factor for them getting over the hump, getting out of the first round. He can do so much more, but it's just not him. You have Tim
But
Hardaway Jr. outplaying him. You have Maxi Kleber outplaying him. Of course, Luka outplays everybody. But the thing is, you need somebody else. Honestly, it's gonna sound crazy, but if Portland decides to ship Damian Lillard somewhere else, look for CJ McCollum going to Dallas. Just I'm
well,
telling you, CJ,
I
it
want to see
happens.
this, Cam. Do you think, the Mavericks? I mean, they made a great push. If Luka wouldn't have got hurt, would we saw something better? Would we saw a more contested game? Probably so. We talk about Paul George and Kawhi Leonard turning ghosts, and then now they pop up. Will they go ghost in the next series? I don't know. I mean, as a Clippers fan, I didn't really know. Like I told you, Kim. Oh, they showed up tonight, but will they go ghost tomorrow? I don't know. But the mentality of the Clippers with what they got and what they're doing right now. I mean, were they 3-1 at one part of the series? I believe. I'm not for sure.
Yeah, I believe there was like 3-1, and then like they just tied up the series.
Tied up the series and went home. But one thing is, do you think? Now this is the question. Well, if the Clippers having the success, now they got to move. The best thing the Clippers can do, which they've never been, it's probably the furthest they have went in a while. I mean, they've been there, done that, but you know what I mean, successfully. Um, they've never been to a finals. They couldn't make it past the next round. If they make it past the next round. And we'll talk about how that's going to be factoring in teams with the drought. But do you think the Clippers, like was Doc Rivers the issue, or was it the players in the organization? Because Rivers not there no more, and most of the players have dispersed to other teams.
I'll say this: it depends on this next series. If the Clippers can get past the Utah Jazz, then it's fully on Doc Rivers. But I will say this: if Tyronn Lue doesn't get the job done here, you really can't blame Doc Rivers. I mean, don't get me wrong, Doc Rivers didn't put the right people in the game when it mattered. We know this. But in the same token, it was like, well, you're going with more offense than defense, and offensive players just sorry, just didn't show up. Blake, not Blake. Paul George has yet to show up this in the playoffs. I think he's still hungover from the pandemic, from the bubble. To be honest with you, he just hasn't done anything exciting. Like they interviewed him like what game one or when he had like a big game or like their first win in the series. But after that, he didn't do anything. That's the issue. It's not Kawhi. It's really on Paul George because we saw what Kawhi did those last three games. He played both sides of the ball. He showed us. He reminded us why he went to Toronto and took that trash Toronto team to the NBA Finals and won. Don't get me wrong. They beat it a depleted Golden State team, but they still won. That's the thing. So it's not really on Kawhi. It's more on Paul George. And they have those pieces, but really it's that coaching. I don't know if you watched the series, but I was analyzing it the other day, and I was like, well, shoot, Tyronn Lue just used Luke Kennard like those last three games. Where was he those first four? You add Luke Kennard, that's another 20 points off the bench. You signed him, y'all literally paid him all that money in the offseason to not use him in the first four games, but you bring him off the bench and he's knocking down shots. You play Reggie Jackson more than you play Rajon Rondo. Production increases. It's these small changes that you have to make as a coach. You have to understand. Yeah, they have this quote unquote veteran presence. They have the knowledge in regards to the playoffs, but you got to win games. It's if Rajon Rondo can only get you assists and maybe 10 points and maybe some defensive stops, he's no good to me when you have Reggie Jackson come off the bench giving me 20 plus. Luke Kennard literally just sit there in the corner, catch a shoot, knocking threes down for me. You see what I'm saying? So it's really going to be on Tyronn Lue for this next series because if he doesn't get y'all through Utah, because Utah's a tough team. Utah is a very good offensive and defensive team. So it's going to be really interesting to see what y'all do and how, because y'all match up very well with them. But if y'all can't score, it's going to be a long game. It's going to be a long series for y'all. Oh,
yes,
man.
it will. But with that being said, let's not only talk about that, but Marcus, I'm going to share the light to you with talking about the Lakers. We go to the other side of LA. And we see how, I mean, people always throughout the career, LeBron James said he can do it all by himself. But we saw when certain players went down during this series, AD and coming, guess what happened? The Lakers are shipped back to LA and they're sitting at home watching the series. So let's talk about this. Now, we don't all want to know what's next for the Lakers after elimination. Will LeBron up and book it again like he did the rest of his teams? Or will he stay back? And not only that, like, what can you see? Will the Lakers next season be a contender? Because AD is still battling those injuries that he's retained over the years. LeBron's getting older and being injured. Don't want to call it that. And if those two guys are down, we see the Lakers cannot compete with nobody. I mean, it's just like anybody else's team. I mean, if Cam's next would lose some players, if my Clippers would lose, Kawhi and Paul would be down. But in this case, the Lakers are crippled right now. What do you think is going to happen with them in the near future?
Well, it's like you mentioned, like with the Lakers, LeBron and AD, their biggest concern, their biggest issue was injuries. And with them having the amounts of injuries, it's really hard for a team to like get back to normal or get any rhythm going. I mean, you can try to, but that rhythm's still not going to be the same as opposed to when your guys was healthy. So I think that's really important to try to find different ways, to find different schemes to like get things back to normal and try to get the pieces to the puzzle. Now, the interesting thing that I was just thinking about just a few moments ago is we talked about Damian Lillard and how like he needs to get out of Portland immediately if he wants a ring. What if Damian Lillard somehow joins the LA Lakers with LeBron, with AD, and with others around them? I feel like that could give him some type of motivation to like say, hey, I still got a lot left in the tank. I can still prove myself and we can chase this ring.
We'll see they chase a ring with Cam. What you think is the next plan or plot for the Lakers? I mean, they got enough to do it. I mean, they don't have enough. I would skip. Maybe they did that. Delusion coming on. They don't have enough quite yet because if LeBron or AD goes down, we see where they at home. So what should be the next major move for the Lakers to stay relevant?
Do what every other GM did with all LeBron's previous teams, put shooters around them. I don't understand why that's like why we like why people don't understand that LeBron needs shooters to be successful. Like LeBron is one hell of a player. He's the best of this generation. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that simple. But not only is he a good scorer, he's a great facilitator. And in order to be a great facilitator, those players have to knock down those shots. Don't get me wrong. I felt like they gave up way too much to get Anthony Davis. They gave up the wrong players to get Anthony Davis. They should have definitely shit Kuzma. He should have been gone. They should have kept Brandon. Think about it. Look at Brandon Ingram in New Orleans. He won Most Improved Player last year, I believe. And every year when he played for the Lakers, he was improving his numbers year by year. They weren't like huge, like significant numbers, but year by year, it was like 12 points a game, 14, 16. So he was making those progressions. Lonzo Ball, he shot 40% behind a three-point arc this year, man. He couldn't
And
shoot, he couldn't shoot anything when he played for LA. So look how they have transcended into their new role in New Orleans. But look at Kuzma. He was supposed to be a part of the big three. He was supposed to be that third scoring option when they got AD. And he hasn't lived up to it. I mean, I don't mind them picking up Drummond, but Andre Drummond is literally a rebound grabber and a dunker. You literally picked up a younger version of DeAndre Jordan. He doesn't shoot free throws well. He's just a big body, and I'm sorry, he's obsolete in the league now. Fives can shoot. Centers can shoot from 20 plus from the feet away from the basket now. You're no good to me. I'm sorry, as a big who can only get a rebound and go back up with it for 2 points. I mean, don't get me wrong, for offensive boards, that's great. That's amazing. It's exciting to get a dunk down. But let me see you come out to the perimeter and guard Joel Embiid. Come out to the perimeter and guard Nikola Jokic. Guard a legitimate big who can take you from the paint into the perimeter and cook you real quick and hit you with a snapback just for fun. And then then he's gonna do it again. Then he's gonna drive right by you because you don't know what to expect. Now, guess what? You're being exposed because you're not a true perimeter defender as a big. You're only in the paint. So again, coming back to my being obsolete comment. So what they need to do, realistically speaking, sign people who can shoot. Stop trying to please all these players who want this big money. For example, Dennis Schroeder wants $20 million next year. Bye bye. We don't need you. You're gone. KCP, you had 0 points the last game you played as a starter, not off the bench, as a starter. You're gone. No, I don't care about defense because right now this is an offensive driven league. Look at the Nets. They don't play defense, they score. Look at Golden State when they had KD. They didn't play great defense, they outscored you. Look at Houston when they had Chris Paul and James Harden. They weren't playing great defense, they were just outscoring you. This is an offensive driven league now, so you have to adjust to the times. And I don't know if you need to maybe get AD into the weight room, tell him put 20 pounds on a muscle or something. But if he's going to continue to be this fragile and break down when it gets later to the season, he's not going to be much of an asset to me. You may I wouldn't say ship him away because Anthony Davis,
No,
he's
I
still
would not.
nice.
I think
But I feel like you may have to just figure something out where this load management nonsense is like early off in the season where you're trying to figure out things and you do it early. So then when it gets later in the season, he's there fully healthy, fully prepared. He has his legs underneath him, so you can run. But AD is just but he's been soft his entire career.
And it's like almost what Cam said about Anthony Davis. Like if he's going to be like fragile during late in the season, like it's important. That's why it's important for AD to stay healthy, especially when it's like late in the games where you probably down or whether you in the lead of the series. You still gotta be able to contribute when the games matters the most to you.
Yeah, that's most likely. We will see a lot. Well, the other bigs are out. Some teams still in the race has a little bit of bigs, but not like now. You look at it, the only really big. I mean, you got a 76ers got a big. You have Nets kind of how that guy, but then to go to the Bucks. But let's talk about that because we already talked about the Clippers and all of that nonsense what happened in the Mavericks. But let's talk about the games that's going on. Let me give you a little bit of background on what we're about to talk about. So the Bucks and Nets are going at it right now. I'm about to go tonight. And Brooklyn leads the series 1-0, as we know, Cam, is the net. And the Nuggets at the Suns, the Clippers face the Jazz, Utah, the Hawks, and the 76ers. Hawks lead that series up 1. But with all that being said, the teams that are currently active right now, and you look at what's going on, and Cam, you might have acknowledged this too, and Marcus, is it's a long drought. No matter which way you go, whoever wins this series and goes to the finals and win the finals, somebody's gonna be breaking a long drought. Somebody's gonna be finally watering the crop. And you got look at the Hawks, 59 years. It's been since 1961 that they touched a series. And that's talking about series, and I don't know if they won. And then you got to talk about the Nuggets, never been nowhere. You talk about the Bucks, 1976, 46 years of not having. Well, you have a successful season, leads to the playoffs. Anybody can make that. Not anybody, but most.
The LA Clippers.
You got the Nets, 2003, 17 years. The Clippers, never been. They can't make it past the next round that they're going into. So, like Cam said, this will prove a lot. Not only Ty Lue, but it prove a lot under the belt of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and the boys. If they get past the next series and move on, damn it, if they lose the next one after that, I think the Clippers can kind of call it a successful season if they move forward, Cam. I think they can actually say that we made it a little bit, but we just lost. We got beat. And Clippers got enough to do it. They just, like Cam said, they can't fall behind too quickly. The Clippers like to play catch-up. Damn catch-up. We can't be playing catch-up. You can't fall 3-1 too many times.
You got to play ahead.
And can't we see some great people? Clippers came 3-1. The Lakers did it in the finals. We've seen that. But why would you want to put your team in that kind of hole to climb out of? Why not keep ahead of the game and be one game up the whole time? And you want to fight that. You got something to give. I'd rather give up something than, I ain't got nothing, and they got to take it. So guess what? It's one of the two things you will do. Give or receive. That one thing, But another one, it's been since 1998. Year most of us have been born here on the podcast. Utah Jazz, 22 years. The biggest drought, like we said, 59 years of no success, or at least having success to at least get to the playoffs, and you didn't have, call it a curse, I don't know. But all realistic, Cam, with your team included, my team included, whatever, in the playoffs right now, who do you think would go? I mean, we thought the Lakers. Everybody was Lakers. And then guess what? Lakers at home. The Mavericks were being a dominant team. They got bounced. Most of the guys that they kind of said were going to make it, left for the Nets. And the Clippers, they say, well, down the Clippers. They downgraded the Clippers to say they weren't going to make the playoffs. They weren't going to do nothing. Now the Clippers are in the playoffs and doing what they got to do. We talked about the Bucks earlier this year, and we said the Bucks weren't going to be relevant because guess what? Giannis won't get his stuff right. Now he's playing against the Nets. I mean, you got the Jazz has always been that silent but deadly team that we have not acknowledged yet in some people acknowledge them and some people say, oh, they gonna do what they gotta do.
But not as much.
Not as much. So, Cam, who do you got in the finals? You look at this right now. We know the team's done a lot over the last few months. But who do you think will be in the finals now? I mean, it's almost did I'd say at least a 180. I would say 360, close enough. But some teams we thought would be there is not there now.
Well, that's a very tough question based off current players being injured. So honestly, I'm gonna say this first and foremost: this Brooklyn and Milwaukee game will go 7. The series, it's going 7. I don't care what people want to say. I mean, don't get me wrong. Brooklyn has the scoring potential to knock it out in 5 or maybe 6, but without James Harden, that's a big issue, and that's what I'm worried about right now. I'm still going with Brooklyn and coming out of the East, just based off the fact that Embiid's not fully healthy. Atlanta doesn't have the experience.
Yeah,
I mean, they may beat Philly, but they don't have that actual playoff winning experience. They don't have enough veterans to get them past anybody in the West. Nobody in the West, right? Milwaukee, they don't have enough scorers, man. They have a good team, but GM wise, they didn't do the right things in order to build that team around Giannis. So for me, it's definitely the Nets and not the West. The West is a toss up. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what team is really surprising me are the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a very surprising team. I want to say the Suns could potentially make that push, but it really depends on Chris Paul's health fully and how the Nuggets really rise to the occasion while they're playing Phoenix, because Phoenix is a very good team, led by Monty Williams, led by veteran Chris Paul, and Devin Booker is tough. Devin Booker, this was his first time in the playoffs, and he's finally getting the quote unquote flowers that he deserves, because people have been sleeping on Booker for years now. He is showing people why he deserves to be in the playoffs. But really, it could be Utah coming out the West. It could be Phoenix, and my dark horse was Denver last year, so I'm gonna go with them again. I would love to see a Brooklyn Nets and Denver Nuggets match. That'd be pretty cool to me.
Well, before Marcus, like you said, and Ken got his Nuggets and Nets kind of deal going on, but like you said, there's underdogs everywhere. Like at this point, I can't even say like there's a cream of the crop, the Nets, but like you said with James Harden, I'm gonna ask that question, but Cam hit it right on the nail. And I ain't want to say any more about it, but with James Harden being out, not only being out the game, but he's able to come back, be day to day, obvious. But with some injury like a hamstring, that can be tweaked at any moment, especially in basketball, ball sport, any sport, anywhere. But who do you got coming out and going into the finals this year? Of all the teams we've talked about, and now with these 8 teams still there, who you got?
Well, my first prediction, you even heard me say this before this happened. I said it was going to be the Nets versus the Lakers, but obviously the Lakers, they got shipped out. But as of right now, obviously in the Eastern Conference, I got the Nets going to the finals. But in the Western Conference, that's going to be a toss-up. But my dark horse, I would say the Phoenix Suns.
And I understand that. And really, truly, I love my Clippers dearly, but I know we probably won't make it past this round. Y'all can quote me on that.
I just want to see how far Chris Paul and Devin Booker, as long as them two can still play that game, how they've been doing. I just want to see how far they can become.
I think, like you said, I'm gonna say my ultimate winner, dark horse, you want to call it, will be the Suns. I think they're gonna. Cam, you know how the history of sports and legacies and how they sometimes give players, you got to give their flowers while they're alive. And I think the Suns will be that team. I didn't even put that on my actual thing. I don't even know how long it's been in a drought wise for the Suns. It hasn't been a long time. But it's perfect timing for Chris Paul. He's about to leave. He's been a foundation almost of the NBA. He's been stellar. He's been not only that advocate for players, he does a lot, and I think they need to give him his ring. That's what he needs to do. He fought a lot with the Clippers, and he didn't win it there as he should have. I think Chris Paul should have had 2 or 3 of them by now with the Clippers. I mean, with the ability they had,
and also with the Houston Rockets. I mean, when it was Chris Paul, James Harden, you also had shooters like Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker alongside. I feel like he should have won a ring there as well.
Well, Cam, I will say I have a Nate dog said, "Don't get too happy, Cam." With ha. I don't know. I think it's the Nets. He will comment. I wish I could tell you which team he's talking about. He's talking about your Nets. He said, "Don't you say the Nets." That was one of the comments that he did say, and he did say that Booker is underrated, and the Suns will be one of the teams. And one thing I want to talk about also is, man, we go over to baseball. Kim, you know how I feel about this, and one of your boys wanted to talk about this subject about how, the New York Yankees. Yeah, look, Kim, that's what I can say.
We don't have
I
to
ain't
talk
say
about
delusion.
it.
To me and you both be delusional on this part in this subject. It should be delusional's corner, not Cam's corner. But I'm gonna tell you this: they crushed me last night, losing in extra innings to the Sox.
Not only did we lose, we got swept.
Yeah.
It is, when I tell you, it is so frustrating watching the Yankees play right now, and it's not what the Yankees used to be. Now it's literally, we are a very stationary team. We go from one base to the next. You don't see many first to thirds. You don't see many sacrifice bunts, moving runners up. It's literally, oh, let's see who can hit the long ball. It's either a long ball, a pop up, or a strikeout. It's very boring to watch, and it drives me crazy because it seems like everyone's moving in slow motion on that team. No matter who's in the starting lineup, no matter who's on the bench, when they touch the field, they are in slow motion. I don't understand why we are so bad. It kills me. I want to personally trade Giancarlo Stanton. He got to go. I don't know why we paid him that much money anyways. He is pissing me off. I've been saying this. I thought he was overrated when he played for Miami, but I guess that's maybe just me. Aaron Judge, he ain't doing his thing either. Gio, he's doing his thing. Gleyber Torres, he had an early in his season, early in his career, he was doing very well, but he's fallen off a lot too. It is frustrating to watch us play. It's really,
Well,
it drives me crazy.
Man, you gave all the insight. I'm just gonna say Chapman got to go as a pitcher. I'm done with him. I've been done with him. I've been done with him about 4 years ago. But hey, sometimes some of the Yankees seeing him, I don't. But let's talk about this real quick before we have to wrap up. Floyd Money Mayweather. We talk about Ocho Cinco getting knocked out, but that's nothing. We knew that was going to happen. Stick to football and run the track. But Floyd Money Mayweather last night against Logan Paul, the YouTuber, a YouTube sensation since taking the head of George. Floyd Mayweather.
Hey, Blake.
But
hey, I'm sorry.
Cam, let's talk about this. I'm gonna give you a couple seconds. Give you 20 seconds. What did you thought about last night, Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul?
It was all for money, and I feel bad for whoever wasted their money buying that pay-per-view. I could have told you that it was all for show. This man Mayweather came out before the fight was even agreed to, that he had planned on making somewhere between 70 million and 100 million. Think about that. That man is not going to put himself at harm. Floyd is a very smart man. Realistically speaking, he didn't need to fight that. He didn't need to fight that kid. But guess what? He wanted money. So guess what? He went out and fought him. I don't know if y'all saw the fight, but at one point he had knocked the kid out. He had knocked him out and held him up. And it was bad. I'm like, come on now. But guess what? It had to go 8 rounds in order for him to get paid. He is a very smart businessman when it comes to his money. He put specific incentives in that contract to make sure Logan Paul got paid, and of course he came out with the biggest bag winner per se. He made at least 90 mil. He said off rip before they even stepped in the ring that he was going to make 30 million. 30 million before you even got in the ring? And to me, it was a joke.
Cam, I'm gonna say this. Steve Harvey even said this morning. I'll step in the damn ring for $100 million.
I would too.
Mike Tyson. I mean, he could knock me out.
I ain't saying Mike Tyson. Now you're delusional. I don't care how old Mike Tyson is.
It is what it is, Cam. It's delusion corner. I'm just saying. Step in the ring with somebody. $100 million. Knock me out. But
you was out of your mind.
I mean, one hit.
No, you are completely out of your mind if you
one
think
hit.
that
Y'all can't get a one hit for $100 million.
You may not be able. You may not survive that one hit. Think about it, Marquez. You're gonna have to get a full face restructure.
Probably. But I mean.
Gosh, I'm not putting myself. No.
But Marcus, how do you feel about Money Mayweather and Logan Paul? I think personally, before I give it to you, I just think Floyd Mayweather. It was like you said, the money thing. Like you said, it's a weight class difference. It's a height difference. If Mayweather really wanted to knock that guy out, he would have did it. He had many opportunities. Logan Paul got tired. And them big strong arms he wanted to act like, they weighed him down like anchors. And that's what happened. And if Floyd wasn't really knock him out, it was a couple sharp turns. I'd say about 10 times. Floyd could have hit him with an uppercut, and it would have been night. Real early.
I'm gonna say this.
But it would have been that.
Floyd.
Right. You think about how short Mayweather was. I mean, it's just a lot he could have did. Mayweather could have did a lot, but him to be 40-some years old, fighting a 20-year-old, that 20-year-old should have tried to whoop him. But when you play a veteran like that, Logan could only open himself so much because he's so big. Floyd would have exposed him a lot, and I think he did. Over time, he tired that man down. I think that's why Logan got out there so excited because he's surprised he even survived. He probably got in here like, I don't even think I'm gonna survive. One hit, boom, boom, it's over. But it's all about a money thing. That's all it was. It was money. And hell, if I make $100 million, why not step in the ring with some YouTuber? He can't knock me out. That's what Floyd was thinking about last night. The last thing I would do is drop. That would have been horrible if he did though. But what you got, Marcus?
It's like what you and Cam said, just a money thing. I didn't really see the fight. Glad I didn't. I just saw like the highlights of the fight. It got good like here and there, but when it came down to it, it was just them two just hugging it out. Like majority of the exhibition match. I mean, it was just hugging it out. So it wasn't really something like they had serious, like a physical, serious matchup. It was just all entertainment.
Yeah, that's all it was. Well, that includes NFL, NBA, MLB conference. We got a lot of things to talk about in the next couple of months. Hey, y'all know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm just in the grinding. So Monday nights, it'll be for now. 7 o'clock Monday nights, every night until football season starts. I know y'all got hooked up on Thursdays, and I know y'all got hooked up on Sundays. But guess what? TG switching it up all again. I got a powerful partnership coming up. Cam, I'll tell you about that later. MPG, I'll tell you about that later. I'm signing some contracts soon. But in the meantime, guys, we got a lot to get through. We got this. COVID's finally opening up. I've seen some family barbecues. I saw my family barbecue the other day. And it looked amazing. It looked fun. I know that looking at the baseball stadium where I work at in Squirrel, this minor league, but seeing the people come back, hearing the music, hearing the people tag along, hearing the people sing along, and see 5,000 people. That's small because it's just one small sport. I mean, it's a major. It's 10,000 people to fit in the stadium. But being 5,000 people, no mask, we know it's scary still. People still scared. But to hear the music, to hear the people sing, and to hear the unity. And one more time, it makes you feel a little warm sometimes. But in the same sense, Cam, I know where you at. MBG, where the hell you here? And you know where the hell I'm at. But I'm gonna say, guys, be blessed, guys. Save the rest. We out. Peace.